did you think about two Rocket Hawks and a Kirin for T5 and T6 Exotic Abyssals? In this video I'm gonna show you a very strong frigate setup for T5 and T6 Exotic Abyssals. And we are talking about two Rocket Hawks and a Kirin. Let's look at the fittings. This is the Hawk fitting. High slots are rocket launcher and remote shield booster. Then you have AB, multi-spectrum hardener, shield extender, EM hardener and battery in the mids, and last you have two ballistic control systems. And in the rigs we have a hydraulic bay thruster and a rocket fuel cage partition 2. These increase the range of the rockets. With those and max kills you get 18 kilometers range with Rage rockets and 33 kilometers with Javelin rockets. If you add the missile projecting implant you get around 1 kilometer more range with that. And this fit uses a shield extender to tank wrecking shots from Kirin and Overmind. The signature rate is a little bit bigger than for the Firestorm frigates, which means that the chance of getting a wrecking shot from a battleship is actually higher than in Firestorm. That's why we fit the shield extender. Implants are missile projects, capacitor management, capacitor system operation, rapid launch and rockets. This gives a little bit more cap and more DPS. And boosters, for the Hawks you use Synth Crash, Synth Mind Flood and Pyro 2, which will give them around 375 DPS with the implants and the booster. And with this setup there is no tank and DPS frigate. Both frigates have the exact same fitting, not like with the Firestorm frigates. And this is the Kirin that we are going to use. High slots are all remote shield boosters. The mids are AB, shield extender, battery and two multi-spectrum hardeners. And in the lows we have two capacitor power relays, which gives more cap. And rigs we have a field extender and EM shield reinforcer. And for the implants we have cap implants, capacitor system operation, capacitor management and shield management for some more shield HP. You can also Abyssal roll the medium shield extender and then replace the field extender for a capacitor control circuit, which gives even more cap to the Kirin. And for the boosters on the Kirin we use the improved Mind Flood and Overclocker 2, which adds a little bit more speed and cap. So, and these are the fittings. Now we're gonna look at the individual rooms. And when entering a room you just move your main Hawk to draw out the aggro and then you activate the remote repairs on them. And most of the time you do 2 of the remote repairs on the Hawk and the third on the second Hawk. And just as with all the other Abyssal frigate setups, you focus newts primarily, because they are very dangerous. Like when they turn off your shield hardener or your logistic, then it can become really dangerous. But now we look at each individual room. Let's start with the Leshaks. When you enter the room you load Javelin and focus down 1 or 2. And when you get under 20 kilometers to them, then you switch to Rage rockets to kill them faster. As said earlier, focus the starving Leshaks first, but if the tanglings get in range first, then it is better to kill them first so that you can keep your speed up to lower the incoming DPS. Leshaks are usually fast if you kill them fast, but if it takes some time to get to them, then they can repair up their HP and then it can take longer to kill them. The Deepwatchers are extremely easy. Just approach a cache, activate your shield booster, kill anything that burns towards you and then focus down one after the other. There's probably not much that can go wrong in this room. Here we have the Ephialtes cruiser. When you enter that room, hit approach on the main cache and then you activate your remote repairs. And here you actually want to use 2 remote repairs on the Hawk that has aggro and one on the secondary, because they do a lot of EM and thermal damage, and EM is not a very good resistance on your Hawk. You focus down anything that newts first, and after that you gonna focus down all the confusers as they do guidance disruption, and if there are more than 2 on you, then the applied damage of your rockets will drop significantly. Yeah, even rockets do not have perfect application to those cruisers. And once all the confusers are gone, then you split up, like one Hawk focus, for example, the Entanglers and Lancers, and the other, for example, focus Drifter cruisers that often spawn with them, and all the other cruisers. It's probably more efficient to split up than focus all on one thing. Here we have the Overmind. Kill any annoying EVA frigates first, especially webs and target painters, which are the snare casters and spotlighters, because that will lower his application. After those frigates are gone, try to spiral into the battleship and keep transversal up as high as possible. Beware of tracking towers and blue clouds. Against this room you do not want to be in a blue cloud or near tracking tower, because that will make it easier for the Overmind to hit you. And as I said at the beginning, the signature radius of the Hawks are much bigger than Nurgle or Retribution, which means that the chance of getting a wrecking shot is much higher in these frigates. What I usually do is to try to push him into the edge of the room, because there he will just bounce off, and then you can get even closer to him and keep transversal up even more, which makes it even harder for him to hit you. In minus 70% penalty you usually have to reload once on the battleship, and in minus 50% twice. There it actually takes a little bit longer to kill the battleship. And here we have Kirin. When you enter that room, you want to kill anything that webs or newts as fast as possible. In this case we have the drifter cruisers as support, and there I start flying into a direction at a good angle from Kirin, and then I focus down webs usually first, because webs are often much worse than newts, because if you are webbed, Kirin will hit you much easier. And once the webs are gone, then the newt crews will usually just slow down behind you and get out of range after some time, and then you can focus down. So I usually focus webs in this room first and then newts. And just like with the Overmind, you want to avoid blue clouds and tracking towers. Actually Kirin has worse tracking than the Overmind, but if you are in a blue cloud, then there's still a chance that she gets a wrecking shot on you. And then you want to spiral into the battleship, and then when you are close, start orbiting it at 500 with your main hawk, and then she won't hit you anymore. And in that case I also had to navigate around the blue cloud, because she spawned very close to that blue cloud, but I got to her without getting into the blue cloud. And once you are in range, then you focus everything on the battleship. Then when you move back to the gate, to kill any remaining drifter or sleeper cruisers in that room. And here we have the drone battle cruisers. And in this room what is special is that those battle cruisers do not switch targets except one of them. And this is what we gonna use for the strategy in that room. The hawk that moves first loads javelin rockets, it gives 34 kilometers range, and the second hawk you send it close to the pack of those battle cruisers and let it orbit one of them at 10 kilometers. So with one hawk you shoot javelin, and with the second you shoot rage rockets. And this is the most efficient strategy to clear this room. You do not want to get with your main hawk closer than 20 kilometers, because then those battle cruisers start to land wrecking shots, and especially the spark grip tessera, they can hurt very much if they hit you. And that secondary hawk with the rage rocket just orbits one of them at 10 kilometers, and then you focus down one after the other. You want to kill spark, blast and strike grips first, and ember grips at the end, because ember grips do thermal damage, and thermal damage is your highest resistance on your ships. So if like 1 or 2 ember grip tesseras get in range, that's no problem, that's easy to tank. But if others get too close and they get wrecking shots, then it can become really dangerous. So also keep in mind your resistance profile of your ship and the damage types each of those drones do. Here we have the drone Frigates. Actually this room is a little bit harder compared to the Retribution or Nurgle, especially if you get the room full with spark drones. In that room you want to put all remote repair straight onto your main hawk and focus down any DPS drones as fast as possible. If they are just ember drones, like in this case, it's not much of a problem, but if they are spark, strike or blast, then you have to be a little bit more careful, and then you actually want to start by pulling some range to kill some of those frigates first, because they do a lot of DPS if they get under 10 kilometers. And as I said, resistance on your Hawks isn't that great against anything other than thermal damage. And this is the Vedmak room, probably one of the hardest rooms that you can get in this setup. You kill any starving Drekavacs that burn to you first, and then starving Vedmaks. After those are gone, you stop all ships in one place, make sure that nothing is moving, because the orbit speed of the Vedmaks is very high, and so their speed alone actually generates a lot of transversal themselves. However, if they focus your Logi frigates, then it is actually a good strategy to move against the direction of their movement to increase transversal even further to reduce the incoming DPS. If there are too many ghosting Drekavacs, then you want to kill some of them first so that the harrowing Vedmaks are in range of your rockets. So that's how you do this room. For the Sansha room, you load javelins on both your Hawks and focus tracking disruptors, VAPs and sensor dampers first. Then you focus down the newts, and while you do that, you try to spiral in on the knights. You also want to keep transversal up because the tracking of the knights isn't very good. And once you get in range of the knights, then you switch back to rage rockets, and then you focus down the knights, and once they are gone, you focus down any remaining frigates while you move back to the gate. And Sansha do a lot of EM damage, which means that you have to be a little bit careful here, because EM is your resistance hole on your Hawk. And for the knights, try to stay around 12 to 14 kilometers away from them, because then their newts won't newt as much and they will be outside of web range. If you get closer than 10 kilometers to them, then they will web you. And in some case the knights will follow a frigate and also get close. That's actually not a bad thing, because when they are very close to it, they will newt a lot and web you. But as they have very bad tracking, they probably won't hit you at all if they are very close. And rockets do not use any cap. Here we have the sleeper cruisers. When you enter the room, hit approach on the biocache, activate your reps, and then kill any newts first, which in this case are the null chargers and the sentinels. And once they are gone, just kill the rest. It's probably still one of the easier rooms that you can get. here we have the Angel room. This room is actually more dangerous, and what you want to do is to put all reps on the Hawks that gets the aggro first, and then focus down one elite Cenoball first, because they will be in range of your rockets before the non-elite. And when you kill that one elite first, then focus down on all the regular Cenoballs, because they melt very quickly to your DPS. And once all the non-elites are gone, kill the remaining elite Cenoballs, and then start working on the Frigates and the remaining cruisers, the Ixions. The Angels do a lot of EM damage, especially the Cenoballs, and as your lowest resistance on your Hawk is EM, they will actually hurt quite a lot. So you have to be a little bit careful in these rooms. Here we have the Drekavacs and Kikimoras. What you're gonna do here is focus down any newts first, like starving Demavics, and then kill the Kikimoras. Because the Kikimoras do a lot of damage, and they also do not switch targets just like the drone battle cruisers. And once they are gone, focus on the Drekavacs. If there are more than 6 Kikimoras in that room, put all reps on your Hawk that gets the aggro and kill the Kikimoras. You should be able to tank like 10 to 12 Kikimoras with all reps on one Hawk. And in emergency case you can still overheat your shield hardener. But the Kikimoras die very quickly, and so it isn't that much of an issue to remove the DPS. Also, if there are Rodivas, then you also focus the Kikimoras first, because they should be gone before the remote reps of the Rodivas land on them and can cycle. The Drekavacs you want to orbit close, because they have very low tracking, and then they won't hit you at all. And here we have the Marshal room, which is probably the second hardest room besides the Vedmaks. You want to kill any newt and web frigates first that burn to you. Then you want to get in range of the Marshals as fast as possible. And once all those newt and web frigates are gone, kill some marker frigates if you are still outside 20 km range of the Marshals, but once you get in range of the markers, start focus them down as quickly as possible. And you want to avoid getting webbed or getting into a blue cloud as much as possible, because then they can do a lot of damage, and if there are Arrestor Marshals which do explosive damage, you can probably even alpha through your shield very quickly. So you have to be very careful about blue clouds and webs in this room. But once the Marshals and newts are gone, then it's just clearing up the rest, loot the cache and move to the next room. And that's how you use 2 Hawks and a Kirin in Exotic Abyssals. What it is worth to mention also is that moving up to T6 exotics won't increase your ISK per hour really, because the amount of red loot that you get in the main cache in T6 exotics is more or less about the same as in T5. And the capital multiplasmids from exotics aren't worth a lot. The glorified unstable multiplasmids for warp disruptors and webs are worth more than the unstable capital multiplasmids that you can get in T6 exotics. What you can also do is replace one of the Hawks with a Skybreaker, that will speed up rooms with a lot of small stuff like drones, Sansha, sleeper frigates and so on. But it will make tanking your Logi a little bit harder, because then you only have one repairer and not two, plus you will also take own damage. And let me know in the comments what you think about this setup. And I often stream that on Twitch, so feel free to come over and check it out when I stream there. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.